So Crothers is basically only the sign of the crops. No, I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
What kind of camera is that? Canon?
It's Terry's. You're gonna have to ask him.
It's pretty good, man. 'Cause I looked at the video with the muskrat,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's like right there.
It works really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I know. That's why I'm using it to record this dangerous trail. This is what our guides do.
Yeah.
Anyone who's afraid gets a guide. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it gets really dangerous on this trail.
Actually, him going uphill was a lot easier than the other way around. You should have rang his bell.
He yelled at me.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, he yelled at me
It would
that.
have been hard to hear a bell down.
Yeah, no, that's why we have us like set up like this.
Nobody knew what this was. What is that? Maple? Thimbleberry. They look
Yeah,
like
little
babies.
ones, yeah. Little babies. It looks like. Almost the end of the dangerous trail.
Yeah?
Almost. I think the most dangerous part is coming up right now.
Are we basically almost at Bayview and Millwood? No, we're not that
I actually have no idea.
I can picture that. No, we're still south of... No, we're north of Blue, for sure. We're not the Bayview.
Careful, everyone. Oh, let me just... Okay, you guys go ahead. Catch up to Terry.
That is Lily the Valley.
You guys want to keep the group together?
Yeah, especially on this trail, we should stay together.
Yeah, you know what those white flowers are?
Yeah, Lily the Valley.
Lily of the Valley.
Yes.
Which is weird because usually we've got trout lilies in this area.
Well, trout lily's good for hot and sour soup, right?
Trout lilies green.
Yeah, but that's the magic ingredient, eh? Is that a sign of termites? Is that a sign of just a floor?
No, that's just a... Yeah, it's just old decomposition. This tree fell down or got cut down. Nature takes its course.
What are these?
Don't eat them.
And these are... don't touch those.
Don't eat it.
What, you smell the garlic mushroom?
Yeah. This is like oh, but young growth.
I munch on these all the time. I do.
Really big leaf of it.
Is this also garlic mustard?
Yes.
Yeah.
120.
Wow. Garlic
Big leaf
mustard.
of it, right? You put that into your salad, you can
That's
eat it
not
raw,
garlic
you can
mustard.
use, you can
No,
dry it
that's,
out, use it as a spice for when you're cooking and stuff like that.
So it's this one with the white flowers.
With the white flowers on it, yeah.
Oh, no, I said smell it.
Oh.
I mean, you can eat it. You didn't wash it.
See, you're getting hungry because you haven't eaten.
Yeah. You put it in your salad if you want to, or anything else for your seasoning.
It's okay, I'm sure.
Don't worry, there's not a lot of dog water.
Put it in your instant ramen for extra flavor.
And it's an invasive species, so you can eat as much as you want, but I suggest washing it before you eat it.
This is a lot of Oil kind of all over.
Well, it could be like dog piss or
Yeah,
deer
no,
piss
not
or coyote piss. Just random dirt blown by the wind.
Where does it originate from?
Garlic mustard?
Yeah.
Europe.
Europe, okay. People just brought it over? Or?
Yeah. Actually, a lot of our invasives come from Europe, Japan, and China.
Yeah.
Lots of it right here, right? So
Wherever it's temperate climate. Tropical plants like that.
it's funny because like the stuff that comes in from Russia, like it's almost the same species, so it doesn't mess anything up at all.
Right, the same type of balance. Okay.
Actually, interesting thing is the Scotch pine that is mainly found in like the British Isles,
Yeah.
and it pretty much is our red pine's cousin.
Yeah.
And they're so close in genetic
Yeah.
makeup that they can cohabitate,
Right.
and they don't mess, like no one competes for soil or anything like that. It's like almost the exact same tree.
Okay.
Just the distinct difference is the Scots pine has a much redder bark,
Oh, okay.
and the needles are twisted rather than straight.
Clover, right here, and all clover is fully edible.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's clover right there,
Flowers are
and you can just pluck it and eat it.
It's the lucky one, right?
If you're lucky enough to find 4 petals on it.
Four petals, okay.
Yeah.
I
It's
see.
too smooth.
Did you find
So
four?
you said in October you
want to find
You can eat it. You can eat it year round.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's clover.
It's
You can
edible.
eat it all the time.
You found it.
You found
This,
it.
no, not
Lucky for you.
So
See what else the other things in the
Yeah,
book.
just try it out in person.
you can eat, right?
You've got that. You've got
This is dock right here.
Sunbound.
This is
dandelions like this.
yep. This is curly dock right here. One of several members of the dock family. Goat's beard, dandelion, they're all part of the dock family, and they're all fully edible. You just gotta figure out which way you're gonna cook them. Over here we have spiky dock, and yeah, right here actually too. You see it there? That's spiky dock. This is plantain, also part of the burdock family.
Okay. Oh, plantain. Plantain and this
Like it's not the same one as in the
It's
Caribbean.
known as
No.
I don't think it's like
Plantains in the
tropical.
Caribbean are more like bananas.
Yeah, that's
These
that's
are-
the same thing.
It's a
Yeah, this the Europeans footprint is another name that they used to have for it.
The reason that they called it the European footprint was because they didn't really know all the food sources that they could harvest when they came over here. So they would take seeds and plants from their own home and just throw it along the trails. And this is what's known as a wasteland plant. So where there's a lot of open sun and a lot of like traction and like human, I guess, activity.
Sun Valley.
Yeah. So you'll find this, and it's actually, this one's not the best example. It's mainly green. It's not as good as the garlic mustard, but it does give you a little bit of spice. Just a little bit. It's mainly green.
The clover tastes just green.
Yeah, the clover's just green. That's more of like a salad filler. This one gives you a little bit of flavor, especially in a stew or
Oh, that's
soup.
nice, but I don't.
It's
Yeah.
very
This one I
faint.
don't
It's very
sense it.
faint. Yeah.
Dandelions will taste like endive.
Yeah. It's not even close to the
Example
garlic
is-
mustard.
I try to sense the. I don't sense
It's
anything.
kind of got like a little tiny bit of
a bite.
spice to it. But yeah, it grows everywhere, especially on trails. Also, we got the dandelion right here. I'm pretty sure y'all know what this one is. And the cool thing about the dandelion is you can take the root and got spiky dock here and curly dock. This is spiky dock,
Yeah, that's
as you can
spiky.
tell from the spikes.
Yeah.
So what you want to do with this is boil it, and the spikes will just come off. Yeah. And then you kind of just take out the leaf.
Okay.
And then this is curly dock, all edible, also very green, kind of just tastes like leaves. But you know, you'll get your nutrition out of it, you'll get your sodium out of it, you'll get, you know, all that. And with the dandelion, what's kind of cool is, I don't know if anyone's a coffee drinker here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, out in the wilderness, I have had a lot of participants who didn't bring enough coffee or forgot the coffee or something like that.
Aw.
And they were just like being all grumpy. And with the dandelion, which is also related to the chicory, what you can do is take the root, you basically put it into a pan and roast it, and then you crush it up into a powder, and then use that as a coffee ground. And it actually kind of tastes like coffee.
Does it have caffeine?
The dandelion doesn't, but the chicory does.
The chicory does.
This
And-
chicory that grows around here, right?
We're going to be crossing chicory, and the funny thing about chicory is, I don't know if you guys have ever been to like a cheap hotel where you get like the free coffee. Those packets are pretty much 50% chicory. And they have very similar tastes. They're like basically cousins.
And most people wouldn't even know the difference between them. Like if you tasted it, it tastes almost exact.
So a little trick that I used to use, if I couldn't find chicory, I'd take the dandelion root and be like, hey man, I made you coffee. And then like the placebo effect would kick in. They'd be like, oh, I got my coffee, now I'm not going to be grumpy. So yeah.
So isn't that dandelion as well, the ones with...
Yes.
It is, but you don't want to really use the root for what I was
Is that the
just
root?
explaining.
Like the ones with the beautiful...
It starts off as a flower, and then that's how it goes to seed. Those are all seeds.
Oh, those are the seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the
Those are
flower
very
has the seeds
useful
as well.
for
Okay.
starting fires.
Yeah.
Because they light up really quick with either a lighter or your straight flint.
Okay. Why do they say
But
that
your
is?
yellow dandelion has kind of that coffee flavor, and chicory is the best. I'm hoping we're going to cross one. I'm pretty sure we are.
Pretty sure we will. Yeah.
But this used to be a factory in here, Sun Valley something, or
Yeah.
it's on your sheet. I don't know.
I can give you a little history. So, Sun Valley Limited used to be an industrial landfill that was used mostly for brick and ash waste from nearby industry that was shut down in 1965, mainly from the brickworks. So the weird thing is like everything that we're standing on, 2 meters down, is just like industrial, like clean, but still industrial waste, like bricks and stuff like that. Oh, actually, sorry, 20 meters deep. It's 8.4 hectares in size, so it's actually quite a large park. There's a lot you can explore. And at the early stages of Sun Valley's naturalization, resemble a meadow habitat, and the ultimate goal is to restore the parts of the area to a forest ecosystem. So this is like what they call an ESA, which is an environmentally sensitive area. The TRCA, Toronto Recreation and Conservation Authority, basically run this. So we shouldn't be plucking too many plants. Just enough to learn. Just enough to learn.
Salad right now?
Salads off limits.
Be sarcastic, of course.
But yeah, this is actually one of the cleanest fill areas in Toronto that I've been able to discover, outside of like the Rouge Valley. And I really love it here. I'm glad that we had a decent group to come out here, because I hate it when I go to one of my favorite spots and there's like 1 or 2 people following me. But yeah, so that's kind of the history of the area. Yeah, it's called Sun Valley because there was a company called Sun Valley. So this all used to actually be like a dumping ground for the brickworks from where we just were, and then probably other surrounding industrial land. And they kind of just put in clean fill on top of it and then started renaturalizing it.
Oh yeah, there it is. Actually, it's right there.
So how many years of renaturalization have gone on?
I would say about 50, 60.
65.
55, if you're told us, yeah, what, 50, right? 45 years? 65? I'm 63 years old, 55.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, what's the same as I am.
Somewhere around half a century.
Yeah.
So before that, it was just all junk here. There wasn't any.
Yeah, like this would have just been
Some
like
weeds
broken
and-
bricks and whatever else. I don't know exactly what they
Yeah.
dumped down here.
But
it
before
was-
they used it for that, this was actually like a colonial settling area. And much like when we were on Taylor Massey, the last hike, I was pointing out, oh, check it out, there's still apple trees and pear trees and stuff like that that are
Right.
still growing here from the colonials when they first got here. And on this trail, you will see more apple and pear and peach trees
Because
and
we're
stuff
right
like
close
that
to the Don
on
River.
this trail. And they've been here for over 400 years from the colonials that first planted them when they first got here.
Do
So-
any of those trees on this trail bear fruit?
Oh,
Or they
yeah.
don't want to anymore?
Yeah,
They don't?
yeah. So these trees are like well over 400 years old, and they're still bearing fruit every year, year after year after year after year. The colonists are long gone, but the trees are still here.
Yeah, they found a way to like reseed and then just grow back up. And it's because we're along the Don Valley. Like the Don River. Like this was a major trading route, it was a
Right.
major traveling route, so these were settlements would have been. You end up learning much faster, but it's all about repetition.
Yeah.
Of course.
So just keep coming out on hikes.
Like learning a new language.
All right, so right here we've got stinging nettle.
Yes.
Don't touch the stuff. It'll give you a really bad rash if you touch it. So don't touch it.
Never touch
Like you?
Don't touch it.
What if Braytech touches it?
He's immune.
If he touches it, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's
It'll
got
just
fur.
irritate him for like a minute, and then he'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this stuff don't.
He's munching on
touch
it.
this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, right, Terry. As you can see on the bottom, the reason they call it stinging nettle, if you look very closely, see those hairs?
Oh, I see. I can see from my
Those
angle.
work like very tiny hypodermic needles that inject something into you that gives you a rash. The reason that me and Terry don't worry about it is because we've been out in the bush for so long that we kind of built up immunity to it.
Oh.
But that takes years. So you guys
Some
don't
people
touch
never
it.
get to that point. Some people will just be allergic to it forever.
But you can make soup right out of regular.
You can, yeah, you can
Well,
just.
that's what I was just about to get to. Is like
Once you
actually
boil
in some of the health communities, this is actually known as a superfood because of all the minerals and like the nitrogen and vitamins in it. And the way that you cultivate it is with gloves for you guys.
No.
And you boil it, and when you boil it, all these little needles come off, and the poison becomes neutralized. So then you can it's almost like a spinach. So you can add it to a soup, a stew, a stir fry, whatever, depending on your culinary taste. It's really, really healthy. It
so
grows,
once you-
as you can see, it grows in droves.
right.
So you had a question?
Yeah, once you boil it, like it basically all the
Yeah, all the little needles come off,
Yeah.
and
it just-
the poison in them
Yeah, but when
gets
you-
neutralized.
You eat the leaves after that, or do you eat the water? You drink the water.
You just dump out the water into the
Yeah,
Yeah,
water.
you just dump the water and eat the leaves. It's almost like a boiled
It
spinach.
comes out, yeah?
Pardon?
We're 100% sure it will come out.
Oh yeah. Although another funny story about this, these crazy buggers out in the UK have a stinging nettle eating contest.
Where they eat it raw,
They eat
like raw,
stinging
and
nettle.
it's
It's kind of like a tough guy contest
Yeah.
to see who could eat the most before it burns like the inside
I don't
of
see
your
that
mouth,
as
your
tough. I see that as
esophagus.
incredibly stupid. You know
Yeah.
why you would want to do something like that? I
Yeah,
have
it's
no
like a bunch
idea.
of crazy
you know,
Scots and Englishmen and
Yeah.
Irishmen that are just like, and it's almost horrifying to watch.
You turn,
Because
you
you
see
can
them
see
turn
their-
like bright purple
Yeah,
and red
they're
because they're
purple
like
and
they're
red,
eating
and
so
it's just-
much of it.
And they're
It's
eating
like
poison.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, bye.
Yep.
Bike, bike, bike.
Bike. Okay.
No problem.
But yeah, this is a stinging nettle. It's pretty easy to identify by its serrated blades and the needles that are on it. Like I said, it usually grows in droves, so if you do want to harvest it, you can probably get quite a bit. And also, if you are harvesting a plant from a drove, try not to take more than about 30%, because you want not only other foragers to be able to come back, but leave remaining plants to seed it back, so next year you can come back and get more,
Right.
instead of just clearing out an area.
It's not just going to repeat itself. Right.
If it can't seed, then...
Yeah.
Right. Then it won't repeat itself.
Yeah.
So exactly, so that's stinging nettle, and this is actually a really healthy looking drove of it,
Yeah.
and I'd probably only take about this much.
For what? You take.
I'd probably use it for a soup or a stew,
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe a stir fry.
Oh.
And normally where you can find the stinging nettle, you can also find the cure for it, because when we were out on the last hike we were talking about this. Stinging nettle, poison ivy, and jewelweed all thrive in the exact same environment. But poison ivy will give you a rash, stinging nettle will give you a rash, and jewelweed will take the rash away like that.
Oh.
So
It also works.
jewelweed,
Yeah, it also
we'll
works
see it
on,
along the trail, and I'll point it out to you.
Okay.
it also works on bug stings and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Bug bites, any kind of allergic reaction that you have. Yeah.
So it's Jewel when you
Yeah,
say
jewel,
Jewel,
like
like
jewel.
jewel.
Yeah.
Like a ruby.
It's got these little fine red hairs, if you take a look. So those little fine red hairs, and if you feel the leaves almost feel kind of furry too.
Oh yes, it's furry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the fruit have the same consistency, which is amazing.
And they're edible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they will have these little berries. That's
In
the
the late
berries
summer.
starting off right here.
Lovely.
That's the berries starting off right there. And they have these berries that are absolutely delicious.
But don't eat them.
Don't eat them because they're mine.
They're mine.
Yeah, it's the thimbleberry.
Those come out later than the raspberries in August.
When
Yeah.
do they bear
And
fruit?
They bear fruit around August.
Are you being
After
honest?
that,
it's
You're
like
like, way after.
There's some of my
No, I know where
I-
all
I-
the really good crops of
He's
them
right.
are, and every year I'm on it.
and
We had both black raspberries
These
and
leaves are
thimbleberries
actually
growing
non-toxic?
together, and I could tell like
Can we eat them?
no, I wouldn't suggest it because you'll probably get a
That's
stomach ache. I mean, they are non-toxic. You won't die or anything,
Yeah.
but you'll get a stomach ache. And they don't have very much nutritional properties. It kind of puts all of its nutrition into the berries. But that fuzziness, if you're ever out of toilet
Yeah.
paper,
It works great as toilet paper. Yeah.
Don't use the mullen.
oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about mullen when we get to the lunch spot.
Yeah.
That's really good. Did you guys find this?
Yes, it's very
That's
nice.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like almost a sweet scent.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes me
Blueberries are
wonder.
actually my best, like my favorite berry. Like with a lot of berries, you gotta add like some sort of preservative, like salts or something like that.
Sugar salt. Yeah.
With these, you just mash them up in a jar
Okay.
and cap it.
The smell is just incredible.
So we like to take this one up.
That's what hunters do, I guess, right?
Yeah, same here. Very common. Japanese knotwood. Yes.
Norwood?
It's like a bamboo.
It's like a bamboo. Yeah, yeah.
And they eat this, yeah, from
They
the
eat
side?
the inside. Yeah, yeah.
Boil it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
You can boil it, or you can just eat it like that. I wouldn't recommend just eating it like this, especially if you're not used to it, because you might have a bit of an allergy to it or something.
Yeah.
And if
very
you
hard to
boil it
digest.
out, then it'll boil out any of those allergy-causing things.
Have you had it?
Have I had it? Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
good salty.
I don't really care for it myself because I'm not into eating bamboo, but you know,
How come this one came here?
because someone brought it over and put it in their garden, thinking that it looked nice, and it didn't stay in their garden.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Simple as
But
that.
as you can see, it's just like bamboo. If you go along the stem,
Right, and makes that distinct popping.
yeah, it makes a popping sound. And you
What's the fact the way it grows?
yeah,
The last time the popping sounds were like much louder.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but I guess it's now.
See, this is like bamboo does all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know, it's like it's only know it's relative of bamboo. This way it grows.
So is this
It's like
what
a
bamboo?
celery, basically. Yeah.
But it has a strange flavor though.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't care for it myself.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like this.
You know what?
But this is very interesting.
Things that are
What
new
comes out of
takes,
it.
I find if
Can I see
you
this?
eat it 3 times, you get used to something.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like, oh, okay, it's a bit off.
I don't think it was a root.
I don't love it.
From there, right?
Yes, right here.
Is this a root?
This is all. Yeah, that's the root there.
Oh, okay.
I actually kind of like it.
Did you taste it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, many times. He says it's kind of salty, and I was like, that's not good because you always got to remember when you're harvesting a plant, you have to understand the environment that you're in. I was worried that road salts and stuff came in, so I took a taste of that one, and I was like, nope, that tastes normal.
I don't really care for it. We have one of our participants that comes out, and she's from Japan, and she absolutely loves this stuff. She's like, oh, we have this back home, and yeah, we're always eating this back home. And she's like, just eats it while we're on the trail. And I'm like,
Wow. Acquired taste.
yeah.
Must be acquired.
I find the fresh growth is the best.
Yeah.
So like right at the end there.
They went to the very end.
Yeah.
Oh, there. I see.
Oh, like that
Oops,
popping
so sorry.
sound. That's okay.
Yeah.
The popping
So
sound.
like right about here.
Yeah.
Find that.
Oh.
The best chunk.
Yeah. Maybe I should try it. We're trying it, right?
Yeah. Just don't worry. We wouldn't show you something unless we knew 100%. So
I like it.
I don't care.
Actually, it's not bad. It's like gooseberry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, if you get the new growth stuff, it's not as bitter as the solid stuff.
you wanna try?
but
Oh, I did that.
yeah.
The only thing I don't like about it is like the fiber stuff on the outside.
A month ago.
That's why I always go for the new growth.
Yeah.
So I just like take off a bite.
And then, oh, you eat the whole thing,
No, I shred it,
and then spit it out. I see. Okay.
and then you get all the nutrients that you're really looking for.
You got a lot of vitamin C in
Unless you're
this.
looking to have some fiber in your diet, then eat the whole thing.
Yeah, the roughage is really good. It's
I
like
think-
celery. But it doesn't taste as good as celery.
We have other options
that?
for roughage.
Well, it's
That's
really
true,
bad
yeah.
sumac. Yeah.
Yes.
It's from last year, I guess.
Yeah.
Should be
That
red.
is beautiful.
We gotta wait till
They
July.
always shoot more red, like the middle is this, is what it's berries.
It should be red like his hat.
Yes,
Oh,
it should be. So the middle ones here are red.
Okay.
July, August,
Okay, yeah,
September.
no, there's a few good ones.
Inside there, it's more like that.
Are these edible?
No,
Not
Good
for
for
you.
you make a tea out of it.
overnight.
You gotta
Make
keep it
tea.
cold.
Okay, you see these
Colander,
these really
and
red
then-
ones?
Yeah.
Those are
The
the ones that you
water,
want to
it
pluck out.
becomes kind of like,
See like that?
Oh.
kind of like a
I
See how it's like
see.
bright red?
It
Yeah.
tastes like lemon.
And these grow on
But without
like,
the sour part. That's
sides of
the
the
You've been
trails,
doing that for a
roads,
while.
anywhere that like they get a lot of light and air traffic. And the cool thing about these
I never knew.
is they're super high in vitamin C.
Like I see it.
So
I've seen
that
I
it.
think
helps
it's
you
these
out
things
with
fall
scurvy.
into the water and I try to fish them.
The only thing would,
They're unpleasant.
if you have
No, no,
liver
no, it's just like,
problems
I don't know.
or if you're nursing,
I just
I
whatever the
would
taste
suggest to
produces
stay
in the
away from it. And you should only drink 2 cups a day. But the cool thing about this is it raises your blood pressure. Also, if you have heart problems or blood pressure issue, you might want to stay away from it or at least ask your physician first.
Okay.
But in winter survival, it's actually really great tea because you can have one right before you go to sleep and it warms your body up and it helps you go to sleep. And then when you wake up and you wake up all cold, you have another
We have
tea.
another option here.
And those are like your 2 cups a day. At least that's the way I do it. And it's super high in vitamin A. It's really easy to find, really easy to identify. I mean, like it has
Yeah.
these iconic
What is
red
this?
cones.
Sumac.
It's staghorn sumac.
They go with sumac, yeah.
And the reason that they call it staghorn sumac is because if you notice on the stem, it's got this fur, and it kind of replicates like a young deer's form.
Oh.
Because when they are young, they have these,
Yeah.
they have fur on them. They haven't been able to fight for mating yet, so they still have the fur. They're still greenhorns.
This.
Oh, that's
This is
catnip.
catnip. This is catnip.
Okay.
And it comes from the spice family. And the way that we know that it comes from the spice family, not only is it very aromatic, it smells very, very nice,
Ooh, it smells
but it's also got a square stem on it. If you take a look at it, the stems aren't round, they're square. And that's how you know it's a spice, is
Pretty much
because all
90%.
spices have square stems.
90%,
Yeah.
90%
Yeah.
of fruit and spices
square.
have
Yeah.
square stems instead of
Yeah.
round.
So instead of it being round, it's square.
So even
So-
spices
Fresh too.
like turmeric and
Yeah,
and
like peppermint
cumin
and spearmint and all
you
of that.
actually
they're
look
all-
at it,
Oh,
yeah.
but not
typically
spices. I'm thinking
be
of
square.
spices like never mind. Sorry.
No. We're talking about like wild spices.
Oh, okay, sure. So you mean herbs? Or
Yeah.
like
Pardon me?
Herbs and spices.
Oh, okay.
Typically,
Okay.
I'd say like anywhere from 85 to 90% of all of them in North America are square stem.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that a herb is called a spice if the plant has a square stem. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And that's basically how they identify
feel
them
of it.
as part of being the spice family. And they all have square stems like that instead of round stems.
Very elegant.
So if you think it's catnip but it doesn't have a square stem, or if you think it's a certain spice but it doesn't have a square stem, that's one of the first indicators that it's obviously not, because it's got to have a square stem in order to fall into that category. But if you take a look at the leaves, the leaves, if you feel them, are very, very like velvety.
Oh, what a nice texture. Very
really,
nice texture.
yeah, really velvety, really nice, and
If you own a cat and you want him to have a good time.
yeah, you want them to freak out tonight, bring them back some of this. They will literally freak right out, and this stuff is way better than the store-bought stuff, because the store-bought stuff has got a whole bunch of chemicals into it and everything else. No.
Look at him, he's not really reacting.
Yeah.
Hey, with some cat.
That's actually why they call it cat.
But what it does is the cats really like this, and it kind of freaks out the cats. It's kind of like a drug to them. And
It's almost like
but
they get stoned.
it has the exact opposite effect on us. This works like a chamomile tea for us. So if you wanted to take a nap, drink a tea made out of this before you go to take a nap, and you'll be out. So
You have to dry it first? Or?
You have to dry it out first. Yeah.
I
You have to dry it out first, but
I
yeah.
have known guys that try to raw, but like you might want to build up an immunity first before you do something like that.
You always have to be really careful about just eating things raw, because you never know, like not everybody is the same, and you might have an allergy to it, you know, so
It's the old Bushman's rule, which we do not follow. We follow 100% rule. But the old Bushman's rule is you take it, you touch it. If that doesn't affect you, you wait a few minutes and you smell it.
If that doesn't affect
If
you.
that doesn't affect you, and then you take like a tiny, and then you wait a few minutes, and if that doesn't affect you,
and then you take the leaf and you find like a sensitive spot like under your arm or on the inside of your arm, and you rub the leaf into your skin and see if there's any kind of irritation or anything like that. There's absolutely nothing after that. Then you take a small sample piece and you try the sample piece and you wait 24 hours. And if there's nothing that happens to you after 24 hours, you eat a little bit more and then wait 24 hours.
Wow.
So it's not like you can just eat a whole bunch of it at once, you know, because if
we
you
don't
do,
suggest doing that at all. 100% rule every time. But that's the old way of doing it.
But yeah, this
I'm
is
talking
the
hundreds of years ago.
this is the catnip right here, and really aromatic stuff. Yeah, you can tell it's part
Even
of the
if you
spice
don't have a
family.
cat, it smells nice in your house.
Also fresh. It smells very fresh.
Yes.
So cats consume this?
Pardon me?
Cats consume this raw?
Yeah.
Cats eat it, and it makes them like crazy. Yeah, they absolutely love it.
They get all like stoned and they start like attacking invisible things. And they actually sell it in bags at pet stores. But the fresh stuff is a lot more potent. So like instead of like you'd want to give them like one leaf like that.
And hide the rest.
And hide the rest because
they're gonna want more.
They turn into fiends. So
Like normally with the dried out stuff, you'd have like a pile like maybe the size of my hand. But with the fresh stuff, like that's good for a 20-pound cat.
And this is for you, my dear, because you got a bunch of cats and the roots are still attached to these, so hopefully they'll take.
They will love it, and they thank you.
Do they normally grow around like the railway tracks, or just?
No, they usually grow in wet areas. All spices tend to grow around bodies of water. So if you find a pond somewhere or a seasonal wetland somewhere, if you walk around the perimeter of that pond, chances are you're going to find spearmint, peppermint, a bunch of different spices right there.
And as you can see from the contour of the land, a lot of water comes down this way, and that's a lowland right there. So this patch right in the middle is perfect. Perfect middle ground.
It's just dry enough, just wet enough, perfect conditions.
Just enough sun. Because there's no tree overhang or anything.
For the catnip or the Japanese thing?
For the catnip.
Oh, okay.
Oh, those things grow in.
These things will grow everywhere.
Oh, okay.
You throw a seed down, it'll grow in. As you can see, if you take a look from the top here, they're obviously, very obviously square, because there's absolutely nothing round about that at all. It's very, very square.
I think some wild cat just came and harvested it.
Yeah, you take a look there, they're very, very square. Very square. And a lot of the time, if you just rub them like this, I know it looks perverse, but you just rub them like this, smell it, You can literally smell the spicy mint coming right off.
Yeah, I
So, yeah.
rubbed it a bit and I tried to smell it, but I couldn't feel the mintiness.
Yeah. I'll try it on this one. This one's fairly fresh.
Sure.
So just basically go down to these leaves here and like rub it that up and down. And this one here.
What?
The Japanese one?
Or, yeah, right on this.
Oh, right on the stick?
Yeah.
And blue tea? The blue tea?
Oh, now I smell
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.